So last week I talked about my point of view on PEDs or performance enhancing drugs. And my personal opinion is that I do not think they have a place in sports, and I do not think they should be legalized. Although this week I will be talking about the other point of view about how PEDs should be legalized and should be allowed in sports. Firstly, kind of going back to the textbook reading, a lot of the performance enhancing drugs that are discussed in the chapter on performance enhancing drugs kind of talk about how the effects of them are very minimal. So, although, for example, steroids can cause slight growth in muscle tissue and slight growth in muscle mass and strength, overall there's not a large effect, and there is no actual scientific research done that showed that there was a large advancement in a athlete's physical performance due to steroids. So for that, when you think about it, it's just a slight performance enhancer. It might not, play a huge effect. It might not be, considered as, cheating as much as other things could be because the effect is so small. From another point of view, when I was doing my application summary, I looked at an article from CBS Local Sports where a gentleman discussed his point of view about how PEDs should be legalized. One thing he talked about is how performance-enhancing drugs, when they do enhance someone's physical performance, in things like baseball, where people are hitting more home runs, making better plays, it draws more viewership, more people want to watch. In this gentleman's point of view, he was saying that he doesn't like baseball, has zero interest in it. However, when there were different baseball players taking performance-enhancing drugs and performing better and scoring all those home runs, he became interested in watching baseball because the level of performance was higher. So from that point of view, you could say that these sports, if they allow performance-enhancing drugs and these drugs do enhance someone's athletic performance, it can draw more viewership in the view of, big corporations or, sporting associations like the NFL and the MLB. If they want to make even more money than they already do, allowing performance-enhancing drugs can draw in more viewers, more people buying the merchandise, more people wanting to be involved in the team to watch, these fantastic physical performances. Another thing he talked about is he made a comparison, the gentleman who wrote the article for CBS, and he compared it to being like a farmer, and he said, what if you were farming and someone said, here, I can make sure all your, plants grow really well, and instead of making $100,000 a year, you'll make $1 million a year. And, there's of course risks to it, but why would you, of course, not take that risk? And he said, of course, these athletes are taking the same risks. These athletes, their career is based off of their performance. So if they're given the opportunity to enhance their performance somehow, even if it comes with the risks of taking a performance-enhancing drug, why should anyone stop them from wanting to do it? If they want to be, the fastest, they want to be the best, they want to hit the most home runs, and that's their job to do it, why should anyone not allow them to take that risk? From that point of view, I sort of understood, because as you think of it as their career and their livelihood, you think they want to be the best they could possibly be, and if there is this technology and this drug is going to help them be the best, who's to really stop them? Of course, I do think, though, that the risk should be super clear, and maybe there should be tests done on the athlete to kind of get where their physical, health is, physical and mental health is. So if they took a steroid and then started to see some aggressive or, depressive states, a doctor can closely monitor that. So from the point of view of, viewership, don't really know if I agree with that, but I understand that viewership could definitely rise with the use of performance-enhancing drugs due to the increased performance of athletes. But mostly I kind of understood and kind of could agree with Lemko in this article, thinking about how, this sport is this person's job, it is their career, and if they want to be the best and they want to take that risk to make more money, go ahead. Because unfortunately, in sports and in professional sports, eventually you get to a certain age where you can no longer compete, you can no longer play anymore, and what you have done previously and the money you've made previously, that's going to help you, sustain your life and sustain your style of living as the years go on, because you're not going to be able to make that kind of money again if you're an athlete and you have to go into retirement. So those were the kind of points that I saw from both the textbook and the article I looked at. Of course, and I think that even reading this, it definitely kind of challenged my thinking earlier of definitely thinking that PEDs should not be allowed or legalized. Personally, I think there's a lot more that I need to look into and think about when coming into my actual, final standpoint of how I feel about PEDs in sports. Thanks.